Hey everybody, welcome to Abundant Source Raw on YouTube, and in this video I want to talk about the importance of digestion, assimilation, and excretion, because these are pretty much the most important things that you have to think about when picking your food, and one of the most important things you have to think about just at all in life. I really only see two things that a living organism is put here to do, and that's one, procreate, and the other is to consume food. And the process of consuming food is digesting, assimilating, and then excreting. Every living organism has to do this. It's the only thing that a living organism has to do to survive. And single-celled organisms do it just like we would. Big multi-celled organisms are our procedure is a little more complex than a single-celled organism, but it's basically the same thing. And when we look at our diet and exactly what we're supposed to be eating for our optimal health, all we need to look at is digestion, assimilation, and excretion. So if we start with digestion, the first thing that we do when we pick our food is we pop it in our mouth and chew it up as much as possible. The goal of chewing is to break it down and make it as liquid as possible. We basically want our food to be fluid before we swallow. That's what's going to assimilate the best. And also you want to just chew anything up. Anything you put in your mouth, you want to chew it really well, because then it's going to get the saliva is going to combine with the food, and the more saliva you have, there's digestive enzymes, and that's what's really going to help the digestion process, and then that'll help with assimilation. So think about what foods you can eat that you could completely turn to liquid in your mouth before you even swallow. If you're thinking of foods that you don't think is possible to do that, then that's already something you need to cross off the list of things that we shouldn't be eating. If you can't turn something into liquid and basically make it fluid before you swallow it, then it's not part of our diet. So after you swallow, it goes down the esophagus into the stomach, and if you're eating anything, pretty much anything other than fruit, because fruit is the easiest thing to digest, and the fastest thing that digests, it really doesn't need to sit in the stomach like other foods do to break down. I mean, the stomach, I imagine most people think that the stomach is there to break everything down and to turn it into assimilatable, nutrients and things like that, which it is, but I think the way most people imagine it is that the stomach can just break everything down, and nothing is any match for the stomach. You can eat whatever you want, drink whatever you want, and the stomach will just break it all down and turn it into liquid for us, and the stomach will just do all that. But really, I mean, the stomach is pretty much there just to create a few chemical reactions with the foods that you eat. Make sure certain things happen. It helps in the breakdown process, but it's definitely not as powerful as most people think it is. I mean, it's really just for when you eat fruits, it's going to do a few chemical reactions before going into your intestines. And when you're eating fruit pretty much just about completely bypasses the stomach, because it's just there for a quick minute or less, and it goes straight into the intestines. It doesn't need to sit in the stomach like all these other foods need to. If you're eating grains, meat, dairy, pretty much anything other than fruit, it's going to have to sit in the stomach for a really long time before the stomach opens up into the intestines and lets it through. But with fruit, it just goes by so quickly, and it just goes right into the intestines straight away. It's already good to go. It's the only food type that we can eat that's just good to go straight through us, and it doesn't need to spend a whole lot of time in the stomach. And that's why you should never eat fruit after any other food type, because it is the fastest and easiest to digest, and you never want to put the turtle in before the rabbit, or you're going to have backup. And that's what happens is, you eat whatever, steak, mashed potatoes, and then you eat some fruit. And this is why a lot of people think that they can't handle fruit well, is because it's not the fruit that's doing it, it's just that they ate something before the fruit, and now the fruit is backed up and it starts to ferment. And a lot of the time you'll get like this drunken fruit state where the fruit's just rotting and fermenting because it's taking too long, it's backed up, and it can actually give you like a little almost tipsy because it's fermented and turning to alcohol inside of you. So always eat your fruit first, and everything else is just, it's going to have to sit longer in the stomach. It's going to start rotting right away, especially if you're eating meat. Meat starts rotting, before you even put it in your mouth, so it's already rotting before you put it in your mouth, and then it just takes so long to digest. It sits in the stomach for so long. It has, if you cook it, which most people do, it has pretty much no water content. It's dehydrated as heck, and it has no fiber to push it along, so it's basically you've got meat stuck on your GI tract for who knows how long. You've probably got some meat sitting there since childhood, and it's just rotting and fermenting, and it's a big reason why you have disease and infection, and a big reason why you stink. And even vegetables, we're not herbivores. There's not really anything about the human body that suggests that we're carnivores, omnivores, or herbivores. When you compare us to our closest relatives, the anthropods, they're frugivores, and we have the same, the closest anatomy, biology, and physiology of the frugivores, and we're actually the most frugivorous out of all the other anthropods. Our diet should pretty much be completely fruit and nothing else really. Everything about the human body points to fruit, and a lot of people know we're not supposed to eat meat or dairy or anything like that, but they think that we're herbivores. And any herbivore that eats grass all day, that's what they prefer. They prefer to eat grass, and they have the enzymes to break down the tough cellulose wall. They have multiple section stomachs, very large stomachs that have different sections for breaking down plant cellulose, and we just don't have that. We are completely frugivorous. If you just take a look at nature and our closest relatives, it would be super obvious that we're frugivores by nature, and fruit is our main source of food. So not only does it digest the easiest and the quickest, which is key, it's going to get assimilated the best. If your body can't digest something properly, then it's not going to be able to assimilate it properly. You can assimilate nutrients from just about anything. You'll get some nutrients from plants, you'll get some nutrients from meat and grains, but you're not going to get all the nutrients. You may not get all the nutrients from fruit either, but you're going to get more than you would from anything else. You might not be able to assimilate all the nutrients from anything that you eat ever, but from fruit you're going to get way more than anything else. It's the most assimilatable, easiest to digest. And not only is it the most assimilatable, but it's the only food type that is not either poisonous or have some kind of toxin or have something that our body can't handle, like tough plant cellulose. So if you're, juicing your leafy greens or your vegetables, that's probably okay. But in an ideal world, we would just be eating fruit. Not only that, but fruit has the perfect composition for what the human body needs as far as nutrient ratios. It's the closest thing to mother's milk as far as any other food type, and it's just the closest thing as far as what the human body needs to run off of. It's got the sugar, which is the body's main source of fuel, and it's just got the perfect ratios for every other nutrient. It doesn't have too much calcium, it doesn't have too much protein, it doesn't have too much fat, and there's not really anything about it that our physiology and biology can't handle. It's perfectly designed for us, and we're perfectly designed for it. We have a symbiotic relationship with fruit. We evolved around fruit to eat fruit, and the fruit trees evolved to produce fruit for us to eat, so that way it can spread its seed. I mean, the whole purpose of fruit is so that way mammals can eat it and spread its seed, so that way frugivores like us can climb the trees, pick it, peel it with our perfect fingers and opposable thumbs and fingernails for peeling, climbing, picking, and to spread its seed. I mean, the seeds aren't appealing to us, and that's another food type we shouldn't really be eating. It doesn't make sense that we should be eating the basically offspring of a tree. It's no, we don't want the seeds. We want the seeds to be planted so we can pick the sweet, juicy fruit and eat that. And since the human body is around 70% water, you really want to make sure everything you're eating is at least 60 to 70% water. If you're cooking and dehydrating your food, then it's going to dehydrate you. It's going to pool water from your body, and it's just going to dehydrate you. And in my opinion, being hydrated is more important than being satiated with a dense meal. Okay, so fruit is the only thing we can properly digest. It's the only thing that we can properly assimilate. And then excretion, and this is the big one, and this is the one that most people don't really take into account, is excretion. If you can't properly digest something, then it's not going to get excreted properly as well, and this is where disease starts to happen, and this is where things start to go wrong very quickly, because basically your body is made up of somewhere around 100 trillion cells. So basically you can say your body is nothing but cells and two different fluids, which is blood and lymph, and the lymph fluid is the predominant fluid in your body. Most people think that we're mostly blood, but actually lymph makes up 3/4 of our fluid in the body. Blood is only 1/4 of the fluid, and the lymph system is basically the sewer system of the body, the waste system of the body. Blood takes in the nutrients and feeds all the cells, and then the cells do the same thing we do. Every cell in your body has to digest, assimilate, and excrete, just like you have to. And so 100 trillion cells every second are excreting. That's basically what you're made up of, cells that are taking in, consuming food and then excreting it. And where does their excretion go? It goes into the lymph system, which is basically the sewage system of the body, and then that gets filtered through the kidneys or through the skin if the kidneys get backed up, and that's why you have so many issues with your skin, pimples, eczema, things like that, rashes. It's because you've put such a heavy toxic load on your body. Your kidneys can't handle it, and so now your skin has to act as your third kidney, and now you're excreting toxins outside of your skin, which come in the form of pimples and different things like that. So that's why you have bad skin conditions. It all happens internally from the inside. That's where it all starts. And if you're not digesting and assimilating what you're eating properly, then you're not going to be able to excrete what you're eating properly, and that's going to cause backup. When the lymph system gets backed up, it has to back up back into the tissue and the blood, basically, and your blood can't. The lymph fluid is very toxic and very acidic, and your blood can't be toxic. If it drops below just a few points on the pH scale, then you're basically dead within a couple minutes. And so when the lymph gets backed up, it can't go into the blood, so the lymph has to store it in the tissues of our cells, and it has to come out through our skin. And when that gets backed up, I mean, it's just the way people eat today is so terrible and puts such a toxic, acidic load on their body that it's causing terrible, terrible acidic diseases. All these diseases are related basically to acid conditions. I mean, cancer, arthritis, asthma, it's all inflammation from acid that's getting backed up out of the lymph system and back into our tissues It's because we're not properly able to excrete what we're putting into our body, because what we're putting into our body isn't natural and it's not part of our natural human diet. We're frugivores and we need to be eating fruit, and anything else is going to be tough for us to digest, and it's going to take a lot of vital energy from us. It takes a lot of energy to digest and assimilate and excrete something that is not supposed to be in us. In fact, one of the only proven ways to increase your lifespan, your longevity, is to restrict your calories. Calorie restriction by eating less. And the reason for that is that if you eat less, the less energy your body has to use to digest things and excrete things, and so that just saves your lifespan. Your vital energy can focus on healing and repairing your cells and things of that nature, rather than having to digest and waste energy on assimilating and things of that nature. So that's why you see some of the longest lived people on the planet are the ones that eat the least amount of food. So raw fruits are the most digestible, most assimilatable, and the easiest to excrete for all parts of your bodies, every single one of your cells. It's the only food type that doesn't come with some type of toxins or some type of problematic condition for our digestive system. So just make sure you're eating mostly fruits. If you want to be as healthy as possible, make sure you're eating pretty much all fruit, and maybe some green smoothies or juices here and there, but fruit is what we're supposed to be eating, and it is the only thing that can properly be digested, assimilated, and excreted by humans. And so when you're eating what nature designed for you to eat, then you're not going to have any problems. As soon as you clean your body up, and as soon as you let your body heal itself and you start eating your proper diet and start getting back inside of nature's laws, then your body's going to clean itself up. Your body's going to get rid of the cancer, the diabetes, the arthritis, everything that was going on inside of you. It's all from acidic conditions, because you're just you're putting too much crap in your body, and it's getting backed up, and it's creating an acid environment inside your body, and that creates a breeding ground for bacteria. It creates a environment for cells to mutate and to turn into like cancer cells. It kills cells, and now you've got this cell debris inside your tissues that is just causing a lot of pain and inflammation. So just eat what you're naturally supposed to eat, and all these things will disappear, and you'll feel a lot better, you'll think a lot more clearly. I'm telling you, you can't even imagine the benefits of being on an all-fruit diet. You just have to experience for yourself. I think the easiest way for most people is to go on a long juice fast to feel these benefits. And then after you do your long juice fast and you feel incredible, because I know you will, then just focus on eating the fruits and trying to do that for the rest of your life if you can, because that's what we're supposed to do. That's what we're naturally meant to eat, and that's what's going to keep us the healthiest and the happiest for as long as we live. And that's about it for this video. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you enjoy the content I put out, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Thank you.